We are live. So hello and welcome back to Tales from Waterdeep. This will be a roundtable DM session, because it's been a while for me. And the music playing. Maybe? Okay, there we go. Lagging a bit. I am Master Kjarl O'Larlandine. Here with others, of course. Okay, so, Cinder and Mofan, neither of you have played, like, a full roundtable DM session, have you?
No.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll go ahead and give a rundown on the plot point rules, just a reminder for everyone. So, everyone, all players have plot points. If you don't know how many plot points you should have, you have one. Anyone who supports on Patreon or is a DM on the server, admin, moderator, whatnot, they have more plot points in their maximum. Plot points regenerate at the end of a month, as well as you get one plot point per session.
I have 27. I've been saving. No.
Well, you have a maximum, so you can't actually save above that.
Yeah.
I'm totally kidding. I've just never spent any, so I have no clue how many.
Right, yeah,
I'm the legendary tier.
Are you?
The last time I checked.
It's not connected on,
Correct. I haven't been able to connect it.
You connect it from the Patreon side. You go on Patreon and then tell it to connect to Discord, and then you log in on Discord from there.
I need to just have a link to that exact page so that, like...
That could be arranged. Well, I think it's in user settings actually, so it's a lot harder to do that.
Oh, yay.
Let me see.
Delightful.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll go digging.
What's your name on Patreon?
I think it's just Josh Acebrook. Or maybe Indigo? I don't know. If it's not through right now, I can fix that. But it's supposed to be the legendary tier.
It doesn't look like it's through.
I will have to fix that then. Because that's not how I like to
Try
roll.
the link in 00 and see if that takes you to the page.
Okay, give me a second.
That might work. It also has the same chance of me just injecting your computer with malware and seizing everything inside, but don't worry about it.
Oh, then I should totally do it on my work phone.
Yes.
Um,
Give me your secrets.
You'll learn how to install fiber. Congrats.
Let's go.
Back to plot points. Plot points can be spent to advance the plot. That is their very purpose. There's only one way that you could... in general, plot points should not be used to help the party. They should be used to make an interesting story. If that happens to help the party, that's fine. But the primary goal should be interesting story, which normally means something in the way of the goal. The plot thickens is the primary way that people plot points. It costs one plot point, so therefore everyone can use it. And you add something to the world as if you are the DM. Then the person below you in the call adds a complication to that. The classic example I give is of a, actually the classic example that's given in the Dungeon Master's Guide is a trapdoor. You could add something to the world. You could say, okay, yeah, there's a trapdoor in this room. Then the person below you in the call gets to say, yes, but it's a trap door. That door is trapped. Booby trapped. That is what a complication is. It just makes something more complicated. Theoretically, it could be like, oh, there's a band of barbarians coming in over there. Then, or a band of hostile barbarians are coming, right? And then the person below you in the call could say, yeah, but they absolutely love cake and we're defending a bakery, right? That makes the story more complicated. Does it pacify the barbarians? Not necessarily. Does it give you a route? Possibly. So that's kind of something. Another thing you can do with the complications is just eat and not reveal what the complication is until later. For instance, back to the trapdoor example, if it's booby-trapped, you clearly don't want all the other players to know that it's booby-trapped, otherwise that trap is pointless. So when the person says there's a trapdoor, then the person below them will get the complication and they'll say, yeah, I have a complication in mind, I'm going to keep it secret.
There we go. What did you say? I'm sorry.
And then once the trapdoor is opened, then trigger. It is on you to remember the fact that you have a complication set and ready. I'm just explaining plot points that you already know.
Yeah.
But then, from that point on, either you, the person who originally used the plot point, or the person who added a complication will continue to DM that thing that was added. For instance, with the trapdoor example, they opened the trapdoor and the room on the other side of the trapdoor could DMing. Barbarians coming across the hill, you'll get to control all of those entities. You can also choose to pass it off to another player if you.
Also, you absolutely sent me malware. No, I'm totally kidding. But when it went to reset my password because I asked it to, and I did reset my password, it just logged me out on my laptop, so it threw me off. I was like, what?
The other use for plot points that only costs 1 plot point is I know a guy. This one is explicitly meant to help the party, but in a slightly complicated way. So, basically, when the party is in a situation where they could use some help, someone can use a plot point to pull in an NPC from that your character knows. Your player character knows. When that happens, you can either make them up on the spot or pull backstory. And then you can say why they're helpful. When you meet that person, however, you roll a d20 to determine, or you roll a charisma check to determine what, at 1, hostile, at 20, helpful, and whatever. The classic example I give for that is you're stuck on the side of a river and you need to cross. You could say, I know a captain who has a riverboat. Go. But of course, another example is I know a whale who is below us right now, which can end disastrously. With that said, that's the brief rundown of the plot points. If you kind of pay attention to how other people use the plot points, help flesh it out for you. Feel free to ask any questions about plot points as we go. And if you want to actually read the plot point rules, you can look either in the handbook or in the Tales rules section on. Any questions?
Not regarding the plot points, but if you could link me the rules for the rest, please, because I can't find them. Or you like reroll spell slots and so on.
Oh yes. The rules for extended rests are in the handbook, which is in the content channel. I'll go ahead and link that channel in the Tales from Waterdeep channel.
I think I fixed it.
The handbook's in there. Basically,
That one? Okay.
Yeah, the dad content, dad hand. So, you can look like Control F to find extended rest or resting. I think might be talked about in the table of contents. But basically, every charge of something that you spent. So, for instance, with spell slots, how many spell slots have you spent?
19. No.
Last session, I believe I currently have one level 1 and one level 3.
Okay.
Sure,
but
I think there's been some.
yeah. So, how many level 1s should you have? Like, what's your maximum?
Oh, max 4.
4? Yeah. So what you would do is you would roll 3 20s, one per spell slot. And if you get a 10 or higher, that spell slot recharges. That is if your spell slots recharge on a long rest.
So
Yeah.
1 per the expanded one.
Sorry, say that again.
So I would roll 1d20 per expanded spell slot.
Right.
Okay.
If it's a 10 or higher, you get it back. If your class gets spell slots back on a short rest, then you just get all of them back after a second.
Yay. Warlocks.
I believe also
Wizards get a certain number
and
back.
land druids have something that gives them.
Mm-hmm. Wizards get their level equivalent, actually. Losers.
Okay, so I only regain one of the two. Wah.
You can have one of mine.
That's okay. I think I have enough.
They're 5th level spell slots, but you can use them, right? It's like handing a magnum to somebody who's like, I don't know what level druids actually have right now. Or you're level 6, right?
Yes. So I have third max.
Okay.
So it's like handing a magnum to somebody who's used to a regular handgun.
Okay, that being said, let's go ahead and we can get started. Any thoughts on like where the plot's gonna go? Like, of course, you can look at the job board, if you want to look at the different jobs. But does anybody have a particular job or personal goal that they think would be a good idea to try?
I don't particularly have anything.
Not exactly, no.
Yeah.
Would Sean be in a spot to go after the stone treasure right now?
That is a fair point. We could basically do the that was the
Do
no.
the what?
Okay. People are to call people. But yes. We could do the essentially Sean Zentherum court case.
Ooh.
As I think what did everyone hear what was and is anybody there was anybody not here for the session where Sean got basically told to confess his murder to the Syntherum higher ups and let them deal?
Confess your sins, you bad man.
Bad
You done fucked up.
man.
He got parented by a cat. And I love it. This is the most chaotic sentence I think I can ever think of right now. And
Yeah, so
it's
I
my
mean, like,
favorite.
does anyone have an objection to that?
And you could also do the
mean-
Stone of Galore, right?
Well, you see, unless we're going to steal it, the man who has it right now is currently in court. So-
Okay. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Does he have it on him?
No,
Okay.
actually.
Oh, so you know that this would be
Um,
the ideal time to steal it.
I mean,
Nah,
I
just-
would
I would advise against that.
some of
Me
you
too.
trying to think if any of you would actually know where the I don't think so.
Yeah, I have a few.
I know the
Is it a
location,
right
I
renown?
have it where he keeps it.
Is it a
though.
renown level or what?
Wouldn't be that
it's
difficult to get
it's
through.
more your standing with Sean's gang specifically, not just the Zinthera Mafia. Sure, renown is helpful in, but it's like whether or not you are, because only really members of his inner circle know where it is at all.
I
Those
mean,
of us who were
yeah.
in the investigation and basically got him to turn himself in for the thing,
Yeah.
might have taken a hit to that
Yeah.
standing.
So that is something that we can go ahead and
Going to court, boys.
yes. So yeah, we can go ahead and do that session unless someone has objections to that.
I have an objection.
Oh,
I
okay.
I still need to figure out my invocations real quick.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well,
No,
yeah, you
I'm
can...
totally kidding.
Sorry, give me half a second.
It's been half a second.
See you.
One Mississippi.
I've already done that. It turned out to be a blessing.
Okay, yes. So, I'm actually using so I misspoke last session and said that you gave a hit to Sean's renown. You gave a hit to his honor score. That's what honor score. But so basically all of you had in one way or another said you were going to privy to Sean's and or currently unless anybody else wishes to, I can go ahead and set the starting scene. Okay.
Set of gallows. Sorry.
Yeah.
No trial. No trial.
No,
Just straight
no trial, straight to dead. Yeah, so, Sean Harlock, our opening scene, which all of you can introduce. our opening scene is in the ground floor speakeasy house on the corner of Odd. It's currently not during business hours here in the day. At this point, probably maybe mid-morning by the time everyone has had a chance to arrive. And Sean is currently, any of you who have spent some time around the ground floor before will see some unfamiliar things. As Sean is currently in his office, sitting there with his in fancy attire, pastel floral shirt with his leather corset, whatnot, mahogany trousers, and also there are some other thugs, some other made members of the Zintherum, but ones that have very minute differences, showing that they are, though they are from the, well, actually I suppose you would have to roll history checks to know those
I'm
those
dropping
tattoos.
that now.
If anybody has a honor score and your honor is based off of the Thieves Guild or something similar, you can go ahead and roll an honor history check. Otherwise, it'll be intelligence.
I'm just gonna say Goose doesn't know.
Oh,
Minus
13.
No.
13? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna say, yeah, 13 is high enough that you would know that this, basically the minute differences, they have the Celtic knot, which signifies that it is in fact a hardlock gang. The minute differences you would guess probably signify that they're a different specific gang within the hardlock. Not ground floor.
I rolled a -1.
Oh, yay. Technically that's a crit fail. Do you want to describe your crit fail?
It was a -1 for history, so he just like for a moment just sits there and it's the cat, it's just like a cat sitting on the like bar just staring out, and it's like 1,000-yard stare as he tries to remember how to breathe.
Love it. As
Get lost, like just looking at the pretty patterns.
Tinder,
Yeah.
you would get to add the complication to this opening scene. As the ground floor is under occupation from hires in there.
Oh, so there's people that are not our friends.
Well, there are people who are not under the command of Sean. Not necessarily everyone under the command of Sean is your friend, and not everyone who isn't your enemy. But yeah, so Tinder, you can add a complication to that.
Oof. I don't really know the Zendarium or the setting that well. So I'm struggling to think of something right now.
Right, so,
It's just a bar.
really, you can just kind of make stuff up. Zintherum, it's mafia. And a mafia that specifically says you can't kill people unless you have permission. The Zintherum is a lawful organization, despite being a criminal organization. They just believe the law should be slightly to the left, pretty much. And they are also well renowned for having the best sellswords. Really, that's all you need to know about the Xantherum to just kind of.
I'm terrible about making stuff up on the spot. Okay.
You can also ask conference pitch ideas within the group.
Okay. I don't know what a possible complication in a bar could be. Like, there's something that the Xantherum need or trade in has been running out of stock because of a ship being stuck in a canal. I don't know. Something
Yeah,
like that.
so the warehouse that is normally full of crates of shipped in illegal potions is bare. Almost empty.
Ooh.
Basically, fight breaks out, there's next to no cover.
Next to no cover, and also, which means if the supply is low, the demand, everything, all the costs of those potions and so on have gone up.
Yeah.
Guess that's it.
Can I?
Just what Sean needs. A bad business day on top of being guilty of.
Oh, sorry, Sean.
Yeah, what the hell, Tinder?
Hey.
You're
Just looks over and Tinder's like plucking the strings of fate. Like,
I'm definitely gonna take this personally. I can't believe you've done this to me as a player. I will never forgive you.
Of course you.
like using
I
the
would
strings
expect
of
nothing
fate as a
less and nothing more.
bowstring, like shooting at it.
You know.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's delightful.
I think someone's corrected that misspelling of mundane before.
Well, there's quite
Oh.
a few
Sorry,
in
it
there
bothered me.
that
I
I've
was looking for
noticed.
the
Yeah,
resting
no,
rules.
it's all good. I fully admit I'm bad at spelling things.
I'm bad at pronouncing things, so.
But yes, so who all is here? Is anybody waiting to introduce here, or is everybody already here?
Goose is in his standard form, but morphed to be a spider. He's just sitting on the wall, kind of just covering, like trying to see what's going on with Sean at the moment. He happened to be just kind of sitting, sipping a thimble of milk, and they walked in, and so he's kind of trying to like make sure no one's
Yeah,
like
do
he
you
doesn't
wanna-
recognize him. So
Yeah.
Do you know spiderly sit on Tinder?
Well, good thing
Um,
MoFan did pack a good pair of
I mean, so Tinder would probably be informed by multiple members here that the last time somebody turned into an insect and came into this office, they got mugged and their knees got broken.
Oh.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they did.
I came in as a spider.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was completely that insect's fault.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean that Tinder would be a spider. I meant
Oh.
that Goose as a spider could be sitting on Tinder.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That,
he's I was thinking on the ceiling, like full on like down from like above their
Are you
heads,
gonna
just
like
kind of like
randomly drop down in front of my face like some spiders do for
yes,
some reason? But
absolutely.
they have the whole room. You have the whole room to yourself, buddy. Why do you have to do this right in front of my face?
He just goes like this, and you just hear from this tiny spider, just the voice of of Goose go. I don't know.
can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. But yes,
So I can
so
speak through him. It's like one of those little like friendly looking jumping spiders with the Xantherum symbol on its butt.
Yeah, so that's where we all are. Fighter and Fighter Calm and Mofan. I didn't hear whether or not you guys were in the
Yeah, I'm there.
Yes.
Notably, I'm not wearing the whole like thief looking getup or the whole like suit with the mask looking getup. It's more so like a nice, pristine, like military officer uniform with like the shoulder plate with the symbol on it, and like an
He's just
officer's
trying to
cap,
flex
and
his level
like
20 as
nice nice coverings over a certain something that doesn't need to be seen.
celebratory outfit.
Medals.
Only flexing my power.
I would say that because of kind of what's going on, no, never mind. Mofan and Colin, what were you?
I was saying yes, and luckily, Mofan did happen to pack a good pair of clothes this time.
Ooh. And Colin, you're here as well?
Yes. Calm comes in his traveler's clothes and is trying to find a seat of suitable size.
Yeah.
Because he is
that's
larger
a good
than
cue
the average.
to say, for everyone, we doing the size change house rule still with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then yes, so Palm is a large creature and Goose is a
Yeah.
as
I'm not to figure out how to hide a mannequin.
As you guys are kind of like, it's a few minutes after everyone's kind of arrived, and Sean, like at this point, like two of the, at this point, one of the other Zinthera made, what? Go ahead and use my. God. Okay.
Well,
Okay, yes. As this woman walks into the room with her small stature does not denote comfort for any of you. As this gnome woman walks in, she's actually quite she's kind of hench for a gnome. She's wearing this white pinstriped shirt under a black pinstripe vest with matching black pinstripe pants. She's pale with white hair tied back. And as she walks in, she puts her fedora up on the hat rack by just tossing it up. As she walks in, you notice something that none of you have probably ever seen before. You see a custom thunder arm. You don't know exactly what it is. It's a metal piece, very small parts, a long rectangular shape sticking out of the side. This hits some of you, as you have heard some rumors. The Waterdeep typewriter. Tommy gun. I will point out that this is a custom made, has to be made by like an individual person, but it is a machine.
Oh, I have one.
Yes, but you don't have this. Like, this is an
This one,
SMG size, right? Your machine gun is probably much larger. Probably like
Yeah.
Gatling gun size, not a machine. So that's actually
Yeah.
something that will be clarified in the rules soon, probably, is saying that machine guns are actually more expensive than the Gatling gun. is what most people.
That's fine.
Though they are still increased in price.
I just you said machine gun. I was like, oh, I have one.
Yeah. As she walks in with this machine gun just slung on her back. As you can see the shadows of other people outside, and there are like a good number of people just outside the window. As you see like the silhouettes of them checking like Thunder Arm. Basically, this office has a large bay window because it's an overseer's office for a room. And there's kind of like a sheer curtain that makes it almost the opacity of like fogged glass, but you can see their silhouettes.
Oh, so there's just people outside readying guns?
Yeah, basically there's an entire group outside just like checking guns. They're not like, what do you make of that? As she kind of like walks in, and Sean kind of looks up. Huh. Hello, Tommy. Yeah, and would you like something to drink? Halfling ale, perhaps? Or sorry, Halfling whiskey, perhaps? Or do you prefer the Dwarven? There she kind of looks.
Sir, don't forget we're low stock. No.
I'll I think I'll take Dwarven today. Walks forward and Sean is like, hey, and kind of goes back and then reaches up to a large painting of himself that is currently fired in. Opens it up and behind it is just shelves of alcohol. As he pulls down a couple decanters of whiskey and enough glasses. And begins setting down glasses. He looks around the room. Who all wants one? Basically, if you want, then you can just at some point, like he's pouring them on the table for everyone who wants. Say that you move over and pick one up as it ferment.
Can I begin to move towards the painting and start casting mending?
Oh, interesting.
I can do it through my spider body.
Yes. So mending requires all of the material to still be present. This is like some of the canvas does look burned. However, go ahead and make a perception check.
That's a natural 20.
Oh yeah, so you see, along with the alcohol behind the painting, you see a jar of that. As also recognized within those ashes, a bit of melted something or other, almost like a burnt oil. As the remnants of a oil painting.
Oh. So can I use that to try and like mend it, like begin to mend
like,
it?
as you are just like over there being a spider mending this thing, that'll go ahead and keep happening in the background as the scene continues.
Yeah,
It'll get
I'll
noticed.
keep
like
listening.
weaving-
I'm just gonna listen and I'm just gonna slowly keep doing it and see
Yeah.
how
You're
long
just
it
kind of like
takes people to notice.
reweaving the canvas of it.
Yes! Just
Yes.
reweaving
little
it with
spider
spider
legs.
silk.
That is really freaking cool. Okay, thoughts. Okay.
You want me to roll a stealth check to see if they notice?
I'm gonna say
Are you
like
trying to do it sneakily?
I'm gonna say you starting, not necessarily, but like periodically as like I'm gonna say yeah, you can roll a stealth check as it becomes more and more required, and then like to see
Beautiful.
how soon people. But
Like one, every couple minutes or so to see if
Yeah,
they just like.
you can choose when you want to make those stealth.
That's fine.
But
Mofan does go and grab one of the drinks from Sean.
yeah. Tommy, it's are you here to studiate anything? Actually, have anything in particular, or just making sure I don't take flight or whatnot? Well, I'm mostly just here to make sure you're not going anywhere. Keep an eye on you and, if needs be, take part in some target practice. Fair enough. Always a reasonable time for some good target practice. I can understand that. Sean kind of sits. So then, as we're here, I suppose, discuss a bit. As all of you well know, I killed a woman. Killed a particularly surly watchwoman. And went around normal channels. Who so? Didn't get permission from the Don Jackson. So, word's already spread somewhat. They've, my honor's taken a hit, certainly. And, well, if retroactive permission isn't granted, well then, I don't think any of you will be seeing much of me. Question with all that. What exactly is going to be the argument? Or my defense? None of you have to be involved in that if you don't want. All of you are welcome to be. You do.
His defense, she'd been helping. What are the words I'm looking for? Helping the people that the Zintherum here have been working to take care of.
Hey, her
Frankly, what he did isn't too far off something we did on an actual mission, or quite like just a couple. I don't know, like maybe like a week or two ago, maybe a little bit longer.
the major difference being when permission. Well, he wasn't actively involved. She is the entire reason why it's been harder to. Her kind is the entire reason why it's been harder to dismantle. Her obstinance has kept the Zintherum from being able to move as freely as we should be able to. Our agreement with the City Watch. Her trying to keep us from doing our best. That we have been less than capable at keeping down more violent and unsavory. Her being connected to the nobles means that we couldn't just sweep her under the rug. Tertiary connection, mind you. She's not a noble herself, just, well, a member of a family that fell from grace a generation ago, and, who is still related to a family who. So, I doubt that will matter much in the.
much as it would in the courts of the actual law.
So, well, quite frankly, it sounds like the exact type of person we would normally take down. It's just a matter of stepping out of line to do it beforehand, which, I mean, depends on whether or not Zintherum wishes to strike down a good man to make an example.
Aye. Now, I do want to point out I do have a well, get out of jail free cards in my. No, I'm not fully. I have and well, one thing that you've been able to figure out that it asks for a set of things, set of 3 things. But the person can have been on that stone change, well, those things you have to start over from scratch looking for. They're different each. We got the silver hammer. Silvered Warhammer has been something that we grabbed from that slaver outpost up over east. But it is only one thing. This one relatively easy to get. There's that.
Ooh. Hey, Kjarl.
Yes.
Does anyone have a perception over 15?
I would say it would make sense because this would essentially be corner of the eye kind of stuff. So I think it would make sense for everybody to roll perception checks at disadvantage to see if they happen to notice the tapestry or the painting being mended.
If they want to, they can roll 3 and like, because I've rolled 3 times. It's just the other 2 were above 20, so I didn't know if it was relevant. It's 26, 25, 15. And I was like, ooh.
Sean wouldn't notice yet.
That's a 10.
Tinder notices.
Tinder notices.
But does Tinder care?
Tinder notices.
Tinder is interested in craftsmanship and appreciates good craftsmanship if he seems to, if they see an
Nope,
example of it.
That's a
So she
set.
just thinks of him as like a really crafty little thing, doesn't she? Just like has a little mask and a little like fixing up the painting. That's great.
Mofan's too busy thinking about how to get shot off to notice.
Sorry.
Tinder doesn't care much
Oh.
about human politics, or is not very familiar. with that
Valid.
aspect of it.
Goose is just simply sitting here waiting for either shit to go awry or for him to be particularly relevant.
So the question is, well, does anybody else have any good ideas for some solid arguments? Sure, someone we'd normally kill. Sure, someone it was. Well, really, it's pretty much just someone we normally kill, and I have the stone. I'm holding it for ransom. Which, quite frankly, that's a real shitty thing to do, and I don't want to pull that card. As much as I value my life, I also very much value the honor of the Zintherum and my family.
So there is also the fact that like all the good work you have done
Mhm.
under under the correct channels and the fact that this is only a first-time offense of something that would normally be done already, but like
We could, yes. A particular highlight of my career would probably be taking out Bill the Bad, a double timer who was pretending to both be a capo of the Xantherum, but also working with Xanathars, cutthroats and murderers.
exactly. So not only do you serve to represent that successful achievement and numerous others and the achievements of those underneath your command. As a leader yourself, you're pretty decent, at least from what I've seen.
It seems that you
To throw that away over one misstep. And a misstep that's justified via our goals in the first place.
it would seem that you've simply been trying to advance the Syntherum's goals, and this was just a documentation snag.
A little overzealous,
Mhm.
that's all.
Hey,
It's not like you would have killed her if you weren't like interested in the Xantherum, like is in the Xantherum reason for doing so.
by the way, Ulfkatil, you can be in here if you want. Do you know why Sean is being on trial?
Yes, the murder of
Okay.
Denzin.
Sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So you're up to date. So yeah, you can just hop in.
All right.
Well, we go. We've got the support of my work for the Xantherum. We've got the fact that still anyway. Also, well, I have been working with been helping with investigations and been on particular investigations, particularly the Bloody Hyacinth. Yes, this particular misstep was me pretending to be the Bloody Hyacinth. However, the fact that relations with the Watch could be a good point. Perhaps not as shining as my defeating a Bill the Bad. Statement of Gilles.
I mean, there's no reason to not to throw it all on the table.
Mhm.
Well,
Done plenty in positive light.
I have worked on cases before, and when you throw something on the table that potentially has that hole in it of, well, yeah, but you act in a dangerous way for that. If someone's gunning for me, if someone's wanting me to not succeed in this court case, or if the prosecution is even just having a keen eye on their job properly, then, well, they might lunge on that and pick it apart. Something that could be a boon might end up being a hurdle.
It is fair.
Sean, you have been with the Xantherum a long time, right?
I've been with the Xantherum for quite a while. I've been capo for about 2 years.
And this is your first offense?
Aye. Yes.
I rolled a 2.
So one small, minuscule overreach in the span of 2 years of just excellent service, and they're just gonna throw him to the sharks.
Aye, well,
It's not how gangs work.
I will clearly defend the Xantherum on this one. I've done something that has been agreed upon prior to the fact that it is a death-worthy offense. I killed someone without the respect of the Dawn, without the word from the Dawn. That is not something to take lightly. As much as I thank you so much for defending me on this one, this is not a measly. This was murder.
So,
Correct.
so we just have to get
Define murder.
post permission for this murder, is what you're saying.
Aye.
Murder, like, of somebody of the same of that like walk of life would normally be justified. The question of it, like, yes, you took the life of another human being, but so have all of us in the name of the Syntherum. And the primary difference between that and this is whether or not you asked first. And
Exactly.
Besides, given what she was involved in, what she was doing, could you even consider that murder? Or is that more justice?
Ew.
That's
exactly
up to
what
us to be
Syntherum
holy.
does.
What's the Zentarum policy on vigilantism?
It's illegal. Wrong. Vigilantism is endangering to society. It destabilizes society. Law is rules that we all agree on. It's the social construct. If you break those rules, if you break that contract, then there's nothing to hold society together.
That does throw a spanner in the works.
Essentially, we're looking for a pardon.
Precisely.
And Sean, how likely you think that's gonna happen? You've been with this Syntherum the longest. I barely know this Syntherum.
Yeah.
It's,
Frank?
well, we're gonna be going into that interaction with the assumption that I should, given what I deserve, guilt. Through the case, we can show that, not the case. Well, I haven't exactly been part of these cases in a lot of the time what happens, if a Syntherum member murders someone, is, well, either the Syntherum takes care of it quietly, or Syntherum abandons them. Watch take care of them. That's often what happens with murderers, with vigilantes. It happened with a fella named York a while ago who was causing problems.
Is that the sort of thing that, should they throw you to the guard, it's a sort of, if you survive and are able to get away with it without the guard taking care of you, then you're okay?
Or is
that
it you're
more
handed
of
to
a-
them in chains?
Yeah.
No, you're sent to deal with them by themselves. But we've already made the plea to be dealt with by the Syntherum. Double
Understood.
justice isn't something that's in there either. Not gonna try someone for a crime and then say, City Watch, you try them too. Neither are we gonna try someone to watch us try.
Does the Zentarum believe in lawyers?
Aye. Well, by a sense, yes. It's a bit less formal than the Waterdeep legal system. Most often, people are represented by themselves or by people vouching for them. And, well, vouching for someone puts your own honor on them.
I did roll a natural 2 on my stealth, by the way.
Okay?
Biscuits.
As...
I'm like almost done at this point.
As
He's
that's
just
kind of
repairing a
happening.
painting.
I think that the case is not too much of a risk. It's as long as someone's not gunning for me, I don't necessarily have many enemies within the Syntherum. If we present ourselves in a if you all present me and I present myself a shining light. And a hit to my honor, a hit to my reputation, sure, definitely. Served. Perhaps even a greater one than the given. But me straight up being killed, unless something goes particularly difficult. I think it should be easy, and I'm kind of trailing off in that last thing, looking, and kind of a look, kind of come. You've never really seen Sean in anything but control, save that one time where you confronted him with the fact that he had been dishonorable. Narrow. Every other time you've seen him very much in control. Even then, it didn't seem quite like. If people want to, they can
I
make
do
an
like the
insight check.
music change.
Yeah.
Absolutely make an insight check on this.
Oh, yep.
Ooh, 18 plus things. Goose is
Oh,
like in the
yeah,
middle
2
of it,
plus
like.
things.
Huh?
Uh,
16.
Investigate or insight. Oh, I have a 0. So 18. Plus 5 in
As-
intimidation. Plus 0 in insight.
So you have no idea if the intimidation worked.
That's a good
fair
point.
point. Fair point.
You can totally see it on their face. But no, I wasn't trying to intimidate. I was trying to insight. See what's the deal with an 18. So
Yeah. As Sean does kind of attempt to catch himself relatively quickly, so I do need to roll a deception. For goodness sake, I'm trying to play a new song and it doesn't like me because the file's too big. I haven't condensed all the files to be.
I'm like almost
As
done.
yes,
The
so
thing going back and forth like.
yes, so so everyone who got a 17 higher
Biscuits.
recognizes the moment in Sean's face. It's not the introspection that there was earlier. It's not. It's shock, sadness, Ellen, like for a brief moment, he was transported
What?
to a time that made him think of a great heartbreak. It's like a. It's like if someone was just for a moment, suddenly out of nowhere, reminded lost love.
I just stopped I stopped mending the fucking painting. I'm like, wait, what?
As you can see that he is staring at a cluster of flowers represented in the hand of the painting. I'm gonna go ahead and get the painting up for everyone. Have a look
I felt absolutely horrible for a quick second, but so that does it seem like this is a good thing or?
That's kind of up to you to kind of decide and think. I just sent both the burned version and non-burned version through the tables you're at.
So does he seem appreciative? Or kind of
He he immediately kind of he immediately, like, his face kind of regathers to a more controlled a more controlled face.
Mhm.
You could you could make a you could make another insight check to kind of like judge whether or not he's appreciative.
15.
23.
This is me trying to figure out whether or not I should stop. It's just like
Um, your your 23, you said?
15.
Wow, I'm rolling poorly on my deception check. I would
Open book.
I am
Thought,
saying
you
at
can,
this point I am activate passive deception is going. But I didn't declare that before I rolled this check, so I mean, yeah, you'll so that is in fact an 8, 13, 20, so 17. I got a 4 on the D. 17.
Holy shit. What's your
Yeah.
deception modifier?
Diplomancer build.
All right.
What
then.
in the hell?
Dump
Does
then,
he-
Does
Jehoshaphat.
he get disadvantage because he's emotionally damaged?
As he kind of you can tell, would say no. Thankfulness is not what you
I'll stop.
as it is, yeah, you would be able to read that, yeah, you have reminded him of a great loss. It's conflicted. It's not like wholly grateful or wholly not grateful. More conflicted.
No, I'll stop for now, and maybe I'll see something about it later. But I'll move my way onto the ceiling and just kind of like lower myself down onto the table. Actually, you know what? No, I'll just really really kind of like traumatize everyone for a second as I just leap off the wall and fly.
Is that a Constitution saving throw?
No, I
Oh.
can fly as a spider.
I mean, to see if we're terrified.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
That seems like more of a wisdom saving
It
throw.
it would be
Wisdom,
willpower.
let's go with
Willpower is determination, bravery, and what?
It is a very cute. It's a very
Okay.
cute spider, by the way. Like it's like one of those little jumping spiders, and then it has
Love
like
it.
a small set of like wings made out of like webs that are like between its legs, as it
Perfect.
like glides over to the like flying squirrel style.
Yeah. Goodbye. As
Goodbye.
Sean, yeah, has kind of like collected himself, but you can see just behind that facade is affliction and reliving trauma.
Does anyone have calm emotions?
No, I'm sorry, calm emotions. As
Quick,
yeah,
be
so
emotionally
his
dead.
eyes were like locked on those two flowers held in the hand of himself in the painting, with the thorn vines of the rose wrapping around his arm, and you can actually see thorns pulling blood from.
Hmm.
As if anybody wants Tinder, since you've like encountered flower language in the past, you could make a nature check if you wished.
Yes, sir. Okay, that is a nat 20. Okay. Cool.
You can recognize this I actually have Is that a blue hyacinth? I think it's a blue hyacinth and a cherry. It is a cherry rose, but I think it's as yeah. What was that? Check?
Yeah, nat 20.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you you know. I'm actually going to tell you the entire like flower language symbolism of the entire painting then.
I have no
As
idea personally, but
yes, you can see the different flowers in the painting. There's largely
I just unlock like this guy's hidden trauma or something. I feel bad.
yeah, so basically what you see is that there is a hyacinths. Hyacinths are in the painting, and roses. Those are the two primary flowers. You know from the past that a hyacinth represents a sport, game, or play. The two flowers in his actually, I'm gonna start with the background first. Work our way up. The main focus. In the background, you can see some various flowers. You see some purple, red, and pink roses, which you would know to represent pink represents like romance. Purple represents more burgundy, not red, and burgundy represents like passion, very much more like sexual color. And then red represents kind of like a mix of the two, but is also more passionate, but not necessarily in a sexual context, but in a very much relation. Also, you can see deep in the background. Well, actually, also around it, you can see these other white hyacinths, which the white hyacinth represents loveliness and prayers for. So that's what you see in the mid range, as basically it has this connotation of lovely romance. One thing you do notice, however, is there are. I'll actually get that. The next thing you notice is actually the background. You notice that there's a hint of blue in the background, which when you look deeper into it, you realize that there is a black rose, blue roses, and that is a purple. Yes, purple hyacinths background. You know that black roses are mourning, death, blue roses are mystery, and purple roses are sorrow. As at that backdrop represent death, mystery, sorrow. As then you notice what's in the forest. The blue hyacinth and cherry rose. The cherry rose represents deep, faithful friendship, while blue hyacinth represents constant. This
Consistency?
look at the different layers. And the mid layer seems to represent love, romance, but also sport in it. Loving love, having fun with romance, treating courtship as a game. What you see in background is mystery, death surrounding mystery. And what you see in the foreground is the representation of a very, very close friend. The closest a friend could be. The vines intertwining with the arms make it seem like it is inseparable friendship. You also notice there are multiple roses of sorrow, way more roses of romance and sexual passion. But there's only one rose of friendship.
Oh.
And that's what he's looking at. He's not looking at the romance and passion around, or the death, mystery, and sorrow behind him. Looking at his one friend. One friend, which before the painting was prepared, had burn marks.
Tinder's gaze is also drawn to the candles. Seem to be in a circle around him.
Yes. You kind of look at the flowers or the candles. You don't really know what candle symbolism there might be. As it's not nature based. But
Is this just Tinder that knows all of this? She's just sitting
Tinder
there like
knows all of this. And she
scanning.
got a nat 20 on
Oh
the nature
shit!
check. As
She
yeah,
just went
you
full,
don't
like-
necessarily know what the candles.
Character
Although the
Goose messed
flame spirit within Tinder, or Cinder, I don't know, that's not named yet, but it's gonna
Tinder,
Cinder for
Tinder.
now.
Tinder's a nice name for that.
Does flicker a bit when Tinder notices the candles. Sure, I know.
Frustration that she doesn't know fire shit.
Out of character, Goose is fucked
I
up.
mean, you could make a I'd say probably a religion check to know about the candles. Religion kind of kind of. So I'd say probably a religion check to know about the candles.
I'll make one.
Okay,
I
'cause
also
mine is
will make
bad.
one.
Mine was 8, so
I'm
yeah.
going to turn the light. So that it's
19.
very clear.
Yeah.
That's way brighter than I meant for it to be.
As pretty much like any of you who are familiar with the nobles of Waterdeep, candles are kind of like it's a trend to have all the light sources of a piece within the piece. And candles are a common way to do that, specifically to represent intimate settings. And you do actually realize that the shape of the candles, however, they're almost reminiscent of a like 7-pointed noble coffin. A lot of noble.
I rolled a natural 20.
You rolled a natural 20. Okay, yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much you gather for the point of this painting, they have next to no meaning other than signifying that it is intimate and that it is it essentially signifies the kind of 7-pointed coffin design that when that motif comes up, specifically when it's not a literal representation of that coffin, it normally represents that this is a central thing to this person's life. It's like a fact of their entire life. There you go, a rundown of the symbolism of Rose. By the way, starts with
That crashed.
That sounds awesome.
yeah, that's what you learn from the painting.
Whole fan over here not knowing anything about the painting.
He was just kind of whispers in his ear. I fucked up. That's all you need to know.
Palm
We got
kinda
cover
gets
boy.
it with an 18 investigation.
Silly spider uncovered trauma.
Okay, let's jump back when
good
he hears a voice.
job.
Sean's day is not going well.
Yeah,
So, like,
no
do
shit.
This is a
you guys-
categorically bad day.
Do you guys act on it at all, or
We just all sit there and like.
as like
Think
the thing
about
is
what
that
you've
you
done.
can tell like Sean has like kind of regathered his like countenance and is starting to just kind of like he's looking around slightly, but he's then like you can get the vibe that he's about to move on, like just try to push past it.
I sit down next to him and cast Charm Person on him.
Okay, do you? Okay, yeah. So, sure.
DC of 12, Wisdom.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
As that is
Class again?
a mental thing, so that switches to willpower.
Ah, okay.
Because like domination spells are switch to mental. Which I do want to point out does not help me at all. My wisdom's +1, my willpower 0. Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. You charm me. Does that have any components, by the way? Do the others notice that you've cast this spell, or is it just
It just fucking happens.
It is verbal and somatic.
Okay, yeah. So
So yeah, it's
Yeah,
just like a
Basically, like,
yeah, pretty much.
yeah, you're basically
so
waving your arms around and.
yeah, and typically because of how this works, the person it's cast on.
still after the fact.
Yep. So like you cast that on him, and like he kind of like as you begin to sit down, you like kind of tensed for half a second, but not like like ready to fight, just like very slight shoulder incline, and then as like you sat down and cast it, just drop back. Yeah, it works.
Do we notice that he did this?
Yes, all of you would be able to.
I say to him, hey, you seem a bit troubled at the painting. You want to talk about it?
Charm person to do that.
Wouldn't
Really want to
necessarily
do that to
say
him? Come on.
What did you say, Thunder?
I'm sorry. Out of character. I-
What?
Go on,
was
go
it?
on.
Okay.
That like if you really want to do that to a man who's just trying to power through in a stressful
I will
situation.
point out like that particular Tinder, you probably don't know this, but that is metagaming, sharing in like trying to convince people to do things that
Oh,
outside
yeah, I
your
didn't mean to.
character
Sorry.
talking.
Yeah, that's
So,
like I kind of like stopped myself.
Yeah.
To...
all good. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, just surprised by it. The infects.
Seems a bit deeper than that.
It
Are you sure there's no sentimental connection to the painting? Nothing in the symbolism?
respectfully, it
October, set a hand
might
on
be
Ulfatil's shoulder and
thing.
go,
Um,
I think you should let that go.
Ulfatil,
Man's got a busy day ahead of him.
Ulfatil, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Persuasion?
Yep. With advantage
you're
because charm person.
with advantage. You guys are gonna hate me because that's +5. 12.
Oh,
I have a +5 advantage, and you get
I,
12.
Busy day it is. You have plenty to get going. Perhaps we can discuss the symbolism of my office decorations later.
yeah.
Everyone's in.
You don't have to. That's kind of personal. Like I'm
Oh, I hung
not.
it on my wall discussing it. Isn't that what decorations are? But yes, back to business. And
A wasted spell slot.
with back to business. Well, I mean, charm doesn't turn off until later.
Yeah.
An hour, yeah.
An hour? Okay, yeah. So, at this point, Tommy kind of finishes off her drink and sets it down. As well, with all that said, I suppose I take a walk around your establishment, and you shouldn't be keeping Jack the Jackal Jackson waiting long. We're all turns in this room. I would like everyone to go ahead and a perception check.
23.
Perception?
I'm just rolling like crap today.
Yes,
That's a
perception.
7.
Also 23.
16.
As yeah, she kind of like
Yet again,
she
I rolled it.
Oof.
6.
As she's heading out, she kind of like takes a drink up from her beverage and like hands it to one of the guys, like finishes off her beverage, hands it to one of the guys at the door. Give that back to Sean. Kind of head.
I
As
rolled
the
a
guy
natural
like
20.
as the guy like heads back into the room, he then sets down the glass, kind of like looks at each of you. As like you see inside of his coat, you kind of see it kind of furl up, and you see that he has just like lines of dueling. As he kind of just
Is that all he
follows
has?
after Tommy as well. But anyone who got a 15 or higher will notice as he's leaving, there is a slip of paper in the glass that was handed to him by Tommy. And how many people got nat 20s? Is it just Goose? Okay.
Mine wasn't a nat 20, but
I
it
sent
was
a picture. You
23.
can see where I rolled the first
Yeah.
one, and then
So
where I
I'm
rolled
gonna
the
go
second
ahead
one.
and reveal something to Goose, which involves me deafening the rest of you.
Yay.
Okay. As Goose, you, as you are kind of watching, you notice that as she gave the glass to the guy, she slipped the note.
He slipped it, or she slipped
did.
it?
He did.
She. Okay.
Yeah, you know who it's from, whereas everyone else.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. And he has like a big ass thing of guns too.
Yeah, he has a big ass thing of guns.
Oh, just casual. Theft. I'm kidding. I promise.
As yeah,
Discord. Hinder such feats.
Don does not notice the paper in his.
Neither did Mofan.
I will be annoyed that he doesn't notice it. And can I just mage hand pull, like, slide the glass towards him?
Totally, yeah. He, like, as you do so, he kind of, like, looks down. Huh. He, at this point, finishes off his glass, and he does some roll, and yeah, he passes the check. He grabs
what's going on again?
He grabs the note of paper. Everything I said before I deafened you guys is what you guys know. I deafened you to tell him something that only he. And somehow a paper got in this glass that Tommy just finished drinking, and her henchman came and set it down on the table. He opens up the piece of paper and gives it a read.
Can I see what it says?
As you like, as like the spider just kind of like dang.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you see the name and go ahead and history.
16?
Or you with a 16, I'd say that you know that that's the person who founded this long time ago.
Is that
Really
the only
freaking long time ago.
Is that the only thing I see?
As go ahead. I'm gonna say go ahead and make an initiative check. I'm gonna say that I'm slowly putting this away, so 5 plus X.
$19.
Yeah, it's a DC of 7. Yeah, so you read it.
Cool.
And this is, I guess, another piece of potentially secret information for you.
I'm sitting next to him. Can I roll to read it as well?
Oh, as soon as you start looking over his shoulder, he like kind of closes it. It was addressed to me. As I will go ahead and yeah, tell Goose what is on the paper.
You can just DM it to me if you want. That'd be easier.
I can speak faster than I can type.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yes. So, it is a note that says, word has gotten to Man Shun himself that you have the stone. And, well, we believe that you are quite loyal. That loyalty surely should extend to the founder himself. we can quite easily make this case entirely disappear. Vouch for you. And you throw in your hat with and shoot. Or, as you can guess by how note, you can make this very.
So from the sound of it, he's being blackmailed out of the stone.
No. It's saying that he basically needs to side with Manchu. That means.
Mhm.
Or they will make his case, make it difficult for him. That's what
So,
they're blackmailing. They're not saying give
Gotcha.
us. Yeah.
Ah,
But with your history check on Manchu, you don't necessarily know what that really means.
my history check was a 16.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad history
Oh,
check.
okay.
Like you know things about Manchun, you just don't know the implications of the.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mofan does sit down his empty glass at this point.
Okay, go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw with advantage because you drank it over the course of this action to see whether or not you get drunk.
Startled when Goose whispers in his ear that Goose has fucked up. Accurate, yes.
I think I'm deaf again. One moment.
Oh,
I don't think he was, unless he did it to himself.
can you hear us now?
Yeah, it's just whenever you deafen me, it doesn't
Undeafen you. That's weird.
deafen me. Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to
Um,
drop the call every time you do that.
Well then, I believe we need to make sure that the Dawn isn't, or well, that the underboss isn't kept waiting.
What did you say to roll? I'm sorry.
Constitution saving throw with advantage. Roll twice.
Mhm.
All right then, let's go get ourselves a wagon. As yeah, Sean stands up and head out. Does everyone follow him? Does someone try to stop him? Or are we
A nat
moving on
20.
to the next? Ruby, are we moving on to the next?
I think we should
As
be
he's
able to
walking out the door,
Oh.
I kind of like catch him by the shoulder and go, "Something goes wrong and you want to disappear. Just you know who to ask."
Hey,
Oh,
thank you for it.
and the spider on Fighter's shoulder goes, "Oh, I can actually help with that now."
As yeah, Sean gives you
What is
an
it with
nod,
this one? It bugs.
and
At this
heads
point, I
out.
do say, Goose, please turn back to a cat. It's very freaky hearing you speak in my ear.
From from his shoulder, I'll fly down and just into a cat.
As we end this encounter, everyone go ahead and make who drank alcohol. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw with advantage for drinking responsibly and whatnot. Yeah. So if you
got
have
a nat
already made
20.
the save, you don't need to make it again. The DC is DC for whiskey.
I forgot I didn't drink anything.
DC
I just
13.
fixed a painting.
Well, I got a nat 20, so.
Yeah. So
Hey.
if you get below 13, then you fail. Like you don't have to tell me what your number was because I'm not the DM. You know the DC.
30-20.
Cool.
I didn't drink.
I didn't
I
either.
rolled the die thinking I did, but then I was like, wait, I fixed a painting and read a note.
I'll retroactively say I drank.
Groovy, yeah. Did anyone fail?
We're all
Groovy,
hard. We're just all
then
hardcore functioning alcoholics.
everyone gains
Some of
the
us just didn't touch
benefits
the stuff.
of a glass of whiskey. Which is everyone gets
On
6 temporary HP and
Ooh.
a temporary +2 to your Constitution.
A what to the Constitution?
+2 to your Constitution. Temporary.
Does that add to health or no?
For fast combat, yes. And I mean, it would add, yeah, it adds to health no matter what, yeah, because it's your modifier would add extra. Yeah, as we head off.
Drinking.
Rough to see the
As-
wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
As yeah,
The wonderful wizard of murder.
we head to the mafia underbosses.
Wait, that's fighter.
As
Not a wizard yet. I'm not level 21.
Ooh, interesting combo. I'm gonna go
Blade
sorcerer.
Singer is fun.
Ooh.
okay, so
Ho, ho, ho.
How does Gestalt work for level 21?
you
Sorry, that's
I mean,
something we can
have
get
to
into
choose
completely later.
have to choose a new class because class maximum is 20 still.
Yeah, that's completely random. Different topic later.
Yeah.
I mean, from this point, does anything go wrong with the case, or does he just kind of plead with or discuss with the what's his name?
As we're walking out the door, you see Fighter let loose a paper bird.
Okay. As
I'll throw a spider on.
I mean, yeah, if people want to, we can skip through the social encounter, or we can play the social encounter.
I mean,
I still play it.
I was more just asking if like is it basically he talks to them and fixes the encounter, so he's gonna get out of it anyway, or
as
That's
we're kind of like
diplomancy.
riding towards the encounter, you do kind of see Sean like contemplating, and he's kind of like fiddling.
Seem like you've had a rough day, buddy.
are the other people able to hear us right now?
What other people?
Is it just
The-
us in the cart, or are
Yeah,
there like
it'll just
guards?
be us in this carriage. By the way, Sean like walks up to us in a taxi carriage. Is like, "Hey, I'm Sean Hardlock," and they're like, "Okay," and give all of you a free ride because he has the pirate background.
If it works, it works.
Yeah.
I
Sick.
do ask Sean, what do we call this Jack fellow?
You can call him Boss Jackson. You can call him the Jackal. Loves that one. Sir.
Am I able to cast silent image in a way that like only one person can see it, or is it just everyone?
I mean, I believe
You can
that
think of a way.
Sounds like a
I believe that
meta-magic
everyone
thing.
would generally see it unless you like you can't just dictate with the
Oh. Okay.
You can do something else to make it.
Can I just make it like a page of paper with text on one side?
You could imprint the
Um,
image onto his eye.
For what is it?
Silent image.
Silent image? I suppose so, yeah.
I'll
You could put it on his eye. Always an option.
Yeah.
Then he won't be able to read
I
it.
don't know if he'd be able to read it.
Do you
would
want to
be-
direct message that to me or
I mean, Sure. I can direct message that. It's just a thing that I'm wondering if he'll allow me to be aware of. What was the name of that guy that you told me?
Manshoon.
M-A-N Shun?
Manshoon.
S-O-O-N. That's pretty much all it is just a small strip of paper. Goose doesn't move to do that either.
Kind of like looks at the paper that's like floating in front.
It's like a
I'd like you to
dialogue
roll
tree.
roll a persuasion check.
Ooh, I'm good at those.
It's a nat 1.
No, it is not. It is a 15 plus things, which I'm looking for right now. Persuasion? You said?
Persuasion.
18.
3. Ah, +3.
Yeah.
Manshoon. Suppose all of you might as well know. Potentially a dangerous thing, and those of you already members of the Zintherum, you're going to learn out one way or another. So, some of you might know from history that Manshoon founded the Zintherum. Entire fact. He's the. And some of you might also know from history that Manshoon, great wizard Manshoon, is supposed to be dead. He died.
Supposed to be.
He died around 70 years ago. But rumor has it that he.
Rumor has
Just those rumors.
Whatever the case, he's not the High Lord of the Zintherum anymore. Nor has he ever been involved in the Mafia.
Rumor has it. Sorry.
The Mafia families have, well, somewhat working. Let me explain how the Mafia families. The Zintherum are mercenaries, best of the best, founded by Manshoon. They are also an information net
You bring me one.
called the Black
Yeah.
Net. One of the greatest information networks and power networks in all the world. And one way they achieve that by absorbing. If they find a good information network, they don't try to compete with it, they absorb. They ask them to join. Similar business with guilds. Waterdeep has many families in it. There used to be more before the Red Raiders came. The Hardlock family, the Stonebeard family, the Thaku family, the Healing family. I suppose we now have the Liqueur family, the Lorelei family, the Quixote family, Green Bottle, Nigel family. All of us fought. A bit before my time. Conflict. We were not organized. We were not connected. Some of us were cartels. Other of us mafias. Other of us gangs.
I'm guessing you were mafia-ish?
Gang is more what we went by. Mafia is a bit too Dragon Ball. Call the ground. Call the hard lock. But well, things organized. Specifically, the Xantherum put a group of adventurers called the Dread Raiders in charge of Waterdeep, Xantherum's holdings in Waterdeep, and got them to organize all the crime families. One allegiance alliance-based mafia. But there is shakiness in politics within that. And, well, then came the rumors of Manchun being alive. Shouldn't be. Died a long time ago, killed. When he come back from that?
I've heard it's a bit challenging.
So
Well, he,
be a long shot for him to help you out.
a couple of years after the Dread Raiders came, word of Manchun started showing up. That Manchun should be running Waterdeep, not these Dread Raiders, these upstarts. It should be Manchun, the founder himself. Great wizard Manchun. Made the best faction in the world, Manchun. And also all of us gangsters, all of us businessmen who, well, were in this world before we were Xantherum. Well, we've been starting to pick sides. No fighting. All of us still agree that the Xanathar's Guild is much worse than any schisms we have within. If we didn't, God knows that Hardlock would have taken the Thaku's territory by now, probably Stonebeard's as well. But
So the debate is whether it's Manchun or whether
the Doom
it's
Raiders.
Doom Raiders. What did
Manchun, I have loyalty is important.
Hmm.
One of the most important things to me, just under family. But, well, neither Manchun nor the Dread Raiders are family. Comes to a question of loyalty.
And are you loyal
I've
to them?
been less than decisive. The Dread Raiders are officially appointed by the Xantherum themselves. Manchun, well, why as a higher authority?
It depends on if he's alive or not.
I mean, there's no unjustification for the concept of if the leader's still alive, then standing by him.
Aye.
Kind of created the idea of Syntherum, if you think, like, if you want to go by that.
Sean kind of puts on a couple of things. Doom Raiders are also much criminals. Done it more.
The apples part.
He kind of holds up his rings. This one, of course, is of my family. These two. That's Doom Raider allegiance. That's Manchun allegiance. For time being, until about now, I've been able. But I'm being forced to. This whole case of ours would be a whole lot more difficult if I don't throw in my name publicly with Manchun. Would also mean the Stone of Galore. Potentially open conflict with anyone loyal to the Doom Raiders. Meaning within our own faction we'd have to be questioning. Or I don't throw in my name with Manchun. I stick with the Doom Raiders. Have a harder case right ahead of us right now. But we're still backed by the official Therum and are not at all miscreants. Not at all dissenters. The majority. Yeah, majority of the world, not necessarily Waterdeep. What I can tell, it's about 50% undecided, 25% for each. But in the rest of the world, it's solidly Doom. Man,
So
we're saying Goose.
So, from what I'm understanding, the general consensus is that Manchun, while he may get you out of the kerfuffle now, would mean numerous later. Who's to say that calling out, or well,
It also
lady,
means being on the ground floor. Potential. Fast way to rise up ranks. Risky.
Only you've had someone who had an independent military force who could back you up.
Hey,
Man, it'd be a
yes.
real
I
shame
think
if we
it would
had
be
one of
a
those.
grand idea for the Grey Ravens to go to war with at least part of the. Catch my meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question for you, Sean.
Aye.
How does one without a family join the Synthera?
Well, by simply proving
Same way
themselves
I did.
worthy. Same way that Goose did, same way that many do. You do
try and
some
track my
actions for the
ancestry.
Zintherum, then you join as a soldier, an associate, and you will
You
get
rise
your
up the
hands
ranks.
dirty for the Zintherum. You become a man. That's where the real honor.
I mean, you can already kind of tell I'm not from any of the families.
Aye, none of the families are cats.
Yet.
No. If you're wanting to look to take over land from like a weaker family, maybe go for the Keeling Liquor divide. They are both claiming the castle ward. Try taking that from both of them. But that
I don't know
boils
if I would
down. We
need-
need to focus on this.
Anyways, yeah. So the person who gave you this out, is that the guy, or is that the girl who's basically deciding whether or not you live or die?
Well, someone within that group. Not sure who slipped the note into the cup. Probably whoever did that.
She doesn't have as swift of hands as she thinks.
Suppose it is grand having a spider around. Well, then we know who it is. And, well, Ame hasn't exactly publicly thrown her name in.
Hey.
And the Jekyll, well, Jekyll is loyal.
Would it be possible she could be removed should a evident piece of information be presented?
Aye. Try throwing her under the bus. At this point, I've run out of time. But we'll go ahead and basically say that unless does anybody disagree with siding with the Doom Raiders, because that seems like the way the conversation. Okay. By the way, Doom Raiders, Manchun, both canon. Look them up. Look them up if you want. Read their wikis. Go for it. Doom Raiders are named that because they used to raid lich lairs.
Ooh,
that was their job.
Fucking
So,
cool.
Yeah,
I'll go with those
they're
over the guy who
kind of
tried to like
rad.
dominate everything.
But yeah, so that's that. But
Wonder if they ever tried to raid
I'm gonna
my.
say, does anyone have a Eve's honor code? Groovy. Okay, yeah. Then
I apparently have honor because I participated in a duel once, and I never set a
Yeah.
code.
yeah. So you
So
Neither did I.
you can just choose a code.
cool.
But yeah, you'd have 12 honor. I have 7 now. Killing.
Hmm.
I am going to canologically say that Goose just doesn't track his honor at all.
Sure. It is an optional stat, so. But basically, if this is like a charisma thing, then it's a bit higher DC. But I'm gonna say Goose. Probably like with espionage or whatnot, it makes sense. You eventually I'm gonna say, why not Goose go ahead and just make a stealth check to see if you can get like a little bit of damning information. And if you succeed, then we won't have disadvantage.
What does invisibility have, like, in terms of, like, addition? Is it, like, that just gives you advantage? Does that play into your passive at all?
For the sake of this, I'm gonna say invisibility would be advantage.
Normally, advantage confers a +5 to passive.
Yeah, advantage does confer a +5 to passive.
So that's either a 24 or a natural 20, depending on if I'm relying on my passive or not.
Okay, well, you can have your passive and also roll. You can do both.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so you get that damning information. I won't be rolling at disadvantage. I'm basically gonna make this like a charisma-based, or a kind of honor-based death saving throws. How many people are vouching for me? If you vouch for me, then that, well, confers either a honor penalty. Like, you can only vouch for me if you have an honor.
Oh, shit.
I have one of those.
Yeah, because if you vouch for me and I fail, you take a hit to honor as well.
I
do not have honor.
Yeah.
So hold on, to assume I really care that much.
Unless I got honor from like the armory
So you
thing.
So honor is currently test content, but anyone who has access to test content can just choose to have an honor score. It starts at 10 and your actions change with
Cool. So I will vouch for.
Okay. I don't have enough d20s, but I'll remember how many people. So it's Fighter and Colin both vouching for me. Okay, and I have minus 2 honor right now.
Silvery barbs.
Okay, that is well, a nat 20, so that's 2 successes, and another nat 20. So
we Gucci.
Completely worth it.
Does that
you guys
include
don't lose
the
honor.
espionage?
I'm still stuck with my honor loss that I got last session.
But you're not dead.
And I need to dip now. Thank you guys for playing. And any questions about log sheets?
Could you post
send me those
what all
questions.
we got?
Send me your log sheets.
And
How long was that?
Could you post what all we got on Waterdeep channel?
It was 2 hours.
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
Okay.
How much renown do we?
You will all get 1 renown for this session.
Okay. I'm level 20 now.
I'm gonna say
Let's go.
the people who vouched did put themselves at higher risk. So put themselves at a bit of risk. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that but it wasn't like risk to your livelihood.
Yeah.
No, I'll go ahead and still say 2 renown for everyone vouched. If you want to tip me personally, then I have a Patreon, Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and Venmo. You can text me if you want that information. If you are not already supporting the Dreamscape Guild, do not support me on Patreon. Support the guild first, please.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, if you want to support the guild, go support us on Patreon at patreon.com/ape. Supporting the guild supports our streams, helps us do these free weekly games, helps us create modules, which I am currently putting work into making the full rule set for the Stellar Fantasies, our Star Wars game. So it's based on Saga Edition, but with some modifications. Module creation as well for plots and whatnot. There are currently 2 of those on the Patreon that you guys can all access. But if you help support, we can make more. And of course, it also grants you a role on Discord that gives you seniority in all of these games, as well as discounts in commissioning certain DMs itself. DM to DM basis, though. Always good.
Also, sorry.
Access. On Patreon, you get access to early drafts of the modules and everything we're putting out. Whereas if you're not on our Patreon, you have to wait for us to publish that. And also, it gives you voting power in the league to vote on rules and sometimes plot things. And really help direct the community. If you want to know what is going on, check our Twitter. Please join our Discord, even if you don't support us on Patreon, because you can play for free on Discord. We have games. And if you want to check out the VODs for all of our streams, thank you, Vince Fept and Shane Ivers, for the wonderful music. Vince Fept allows us to use it. Check them out on Bandcamp and YouTube. Shane Ivers, all of their music is in the public domain at silvermansound.com. And with all that blurting, I need a dip. Ta-ta.
Bye.